think the story of the Lions game yesterday has to start at about 10 a.m., right? When we find out that Taylor Decker has been downgraded to probable.
Doubtful?
Doubtful, yeah. Downgraded to doubtful. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's not playing. Like I know
no
he
one
hasn't
plays
been
when
ruled
they're
out.
doubtful, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know he hasn't been ruled out yet, but he's not playing. And he didn't practice all week, but this was the fourth consecutive week that he has not practiced. This has been a Frank Ragnow situation where we know you're dealing with a ton of stuff. Just be ready on game day. Well, the problem was Taylor Decker was not ready on game day dealing with this shoulder thing. And then where does my mind go? Who's starting? Oh, my God, it's Giovanni Manu.
Your boy.
Don't ever say that. Please don't ever say that. 4th-round pick. They traded up, 2 years ago? They traded up a 3rd-round pick to jump back into the 4th-round pick and take a guy who was on anyone's big board. You guys have heard me do this rant before. I was going to say it a bit, but it's not even a bit. Like I can't believe that this is the guy they decided to take a swing on in the draft and give up a 3rd-round pick in the process. He was awful yesterday. Awful. And the crazy thing is, it's to nobody's surprise. Trey Hendrickson took his lunch money, even on the first touchdown in the game when Sam Laporta flipped into the end zone. You know who ended up on his butt that play? And the only reason it worked is because Jahmyr Gibbs picked up a pass block. Giovanni Manu. Like, he was such a disaster yesterday to the point where the Lions were well below average in terms of what the Bengals were doing against teams against the run. Like, the Bengals have been one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Lions didn't establish run all that great yesterday, I didn't think. They're fine. They weren't great. They weren't up to the Lions standard, I'd say. And Jared Goff, that sackless streak that he had, 3 straight games without a sack, I knew as soon as Taylor Decker was downgraded to probable, you could throw that out the window. He has to get healthy. Here's what I'll say. I don't mean to just sit here and say that wasn't good enough. I mean, they had a double-digit win. They covered the spread. They gave up 21 points in the 4th quarter. That's kind of the big, what are you doing? There's a couple other things earlier in the game that we'll get to. But I'll just say this. They can't play like that. They can't play like they did yesterday against Kansas City on Sunday night and expect to win.
Yeah. I mean, that's totally fair. They should have been up 40-6 in the 3rd quarter. Like, that's – I don't think – we can't sit here and be like, oh, like Dan Campbell did in the postgame. You're not going to complain about a double-digit victory.
Especially when he kind of did that last week.
He kind of did complain about it last week.
So he couldn't do it back-to-back weeks, and that's understandable.
It's
and
totally
I don't think you and I really complained about last week's win all that much. Like, the offense wasn't good, but you were playing a fantastic
I also
Browns
think the
defense.
Browns are way better than the Bengals, you know?
I do too.
That was kind of made clear on – I know the London games are weird, but, like, the Browns had a late-game lead over the Vikings.
Different quarterback, but yeah,
sure,
no, I agree.
Still,
like, the Browns' defense is better than anything that the Bengals had. So I didn't really
Jake Browning gave the Lions the football 3 times,
Yes.
and they scored once off of it.
Yes.
You know, like that.
No,
that's
they scored twice.
Okay, still.
But they started on the 5-yard line and then started doing the, hey, David Montgomery's in his hometown. Did you know that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Look, Jake Browning also took a safety, and that got taken away.
Thank you, Terrion Arnold.
They still ended up getting another one, which, in speaking of Terrion Arnold, more secondary issues coming injury-wise. I know we're going to get into that at some point, but
I think it might be time for him to stop podcasting.
He just started podcasting.
Yeah, I know, but I think it might be time to be
this
done.
Bit.
Yeah, but at least, like, there was still the early season hope of, like,
if he's injured, it's going to be more podcasting.
I cut you off. What were you saying?
Well, it's just, like, I think it's okay to be a bit disappointed with this game. The Bengals are truly at best, bottom 3 team in the league post-Joe Burrow injury.
Yeah.
Their offense can't move the ball. Somehow they scored 21 points in the 4th quarter. Their defense is truly terrible. They have no pass rush, and somehow they got sacks on Jared Goff. Like
4 of them.
Yeah.
And I know part of that's on Manu, but not all 4 sacks were on Giovanni Manu.
And it was smart from John Morton to just, basically every single power run play was just to the right. They were just avoiding rushing the ball to the left. Obviously, why would you? So I get it. And we talked about this with Kirby Joseph last week too. Like, maybe you don't ever want to, like, sit a guy if they're able to play, but maybe you can get away with a week off for a guy if he's a little bit banged up. Maybe that's what happened with Taylor Decker this week, you know?
Well, did you see after the game, Dan Campbell said they told Manu on Tuesday that he was starting?
Oh,
like, they've known this the whole time. And then he said after the game, Dan Campbell, like,
that's a bit more concerning, actually.
We hope he's ready for Sunday.
Yeah,
like,
because that
he
makes me think this could be
it.
long. This could be a longer than just we're giving him the week off.
If Giovanni Manu is playing, next Sunday, I'm going to have a hard time. Like, I know it's one guy, but I'm going to have a hard time picking the Lions to win, especially knowing who's calling plays for the Chiefs and who's on that defensive line. Chris Jones will line every single snap he has up against that guy.
Well, and you just think about the impact that it had on this game against the Bengals. Like you said, the sackless streak.
Yeah.
Not every sack was given up by Manu, but it clearly affected the entire offensive game plan for the Lions. Once again, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, this was a terrible game. They put up 37 freaking points.
Yeah.
You know, like the offense still did a great job. They hit your over. They covered the spread. Like it was still a good game for the Lions. You're never going to complain about it.
A win's a win in this league.
But there are for sure takeaways from the game that you're like a little bit shaky about.
Speaking of takeaways, they had 3 of them. Kirby Joseph had his 3rd interception of the season. You want to hear some crazy Kirby Joseph stats?
Yeah.
Kirby Joseph is the 2nd player in NFL history to have 20 interceptions in their first 4 seasons. He joins Ed Reed. Ed Reed and Kirby Joseph. You know, Hall of Famer Ed Reed? Have you heard of him? Those are the only 2 guys to have 20 interceptions in their first 4 seasons. Ed Reed had 22. Kirby has 20, and we're only a fourth of the way through his 4th season. Forget all the numbers of most interceptions since he came into the league. How about most interceptions ever through 4 seasons in the NFL? Gets another one yesterday, and then they followed it up with a 3-play drive that went 4 yards. You know the last guy to lead the league in picks back-to-back years?
Ooh. Is it Ed Reed?
No. Everson Walls, 1981, 1982.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about him. You have no idea.
Kirby Joseph might be setting that record. Yeah, Superman.